Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered what self care was all about? We've got some thoughts. Hang tight. Good morning, Giants. We've got a couple
That's
thoughts.
it.
Might
Yeah.
sit in silence.
We might even just talk about the Care Bears and have it be good enough, right?
Uh,
Boing. Like
Ding.
blast out of my chest here, like
Care Bears stare. Is that
Care Bear
copyrighted?
stare, Care Bear hair. I don't even know.
We have a little bit of that.
But I do have some thoughts around this. In fact, you know how I love words and almost as much as I love fractals. We'll bring that in right away. But the meaning of care goes, I think, back to Old Germanic. It means to grieve, which brings a new twist to self-care, right?
Mhm.
So usually what self-care is a soothing of internal turmoil, like grief or discomfort. And what we have a tendency to do is to not address it or be with it fully. Like when we were kids, our parents would comfort us in a healthy situation. The parents would comfort us, and that would be our version of care until we could develop our own, and then we would move into our own version of that, right? Well, if we never receive that, then we might self-care fractal Friday. Yeah, easy to say. So when we think of self-care, it's our ability to work through that suffering, that grief that we have, is really what it means. Because we're uncomfortable, then how do we handle it? You know, what are we doing in different areas of our life that feel maybe dissatisfied, or maybe that I made that word up. So as I'm looking into it, there's like 5 main areas. There's physical, social, mental, spiritual, and emotional. And in each of these, it's how are we internally handling our own process, whatever that is. If that's grief or discomfort, how are we handling that? And so, yeah, I don't know what comes up as you hear that.
So what were those categories again? Physical,
Right.
spiritual, emotional. That was
Mental,
mental,
physical, social, mental, spiritual, and
social.
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking through some of those things and going, okay, so taking inventory in each area and where I'm at and how I'm feeling, inside of each of those. And sometimes you think self-care maybe just go into like, I don't know, get a massage or pedicure or manicure, or,
Right. It's a little different.
something like that, or just R&R, just resting. But I would imagine that just for like a well-rounded self-care, I think it would be a good idea to take notes on where you're at in each of these areas. And I could, like, I'm just sitting here thinking, looking at the categories and breaking down.
Yeah, for each one.
Just taking like a mental inventory, and brainstorming all the things that inside of the physical, inside of the spiritual, inside of the emotional, mental, and social, and then maybe pinpointing where you're lacking, or not feeling, full. I don't know what the right word is there, but we're like complete.
Well, think about it. If it's a sadness in an area, like let's say that it's not necessarily a sadness, it's a discomfort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say physical. Like I feel out of whack in a way in my physical body. So I'm feeling tired. I feel lethargic. I don't feel fit. I'm eating too much, things like this, or I'm eating the wrong foods. I'm eating foods that just don't make me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, self-care would be, how are you addressing that? Do you numb it? Like the questions that you ask would be really important here. Like if you ask yourself, why am I such a dumbass? Not a very good question, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But if you ask yourself a question,
emotionally and mentally bad
Yeah, like
for your.
how do I shift this? Like, what are some things I can do, some possibilities around being healthier or eating, more properly or getting more sleep? What are some things that I could do there? That's self-care. That's handling your stuff. And that's essentially what this is taking care of your own stuff. Now there might be some times that you really want to lean on somebody, but
Mhm.
we're not talking about that in this video. That'll be called the, I don't know, the others care. I don't know. We'll make it up. But then ask these questions again socially, like how are my friendships? What am I doing in my friendships or where could I improve in those friendships? Like where do I feel small in this area? And what are some possibilities for becoming a giant in this area?
Yeah, I'll tell you, like on the physical side, I have, and maybe it probably ties into a lot of these other areas too, but I haven't been sleeping very well. And so my physical has been affected, right? Thanks to you. You,
I was wondering if you would pause long enough to see that, but
that's
yeah, keep
awesome.
going.
Yeah, I relate to that.
Yeah, I relate. We're
Um,
cousins.
um, but the physical has been tough because not sleeping, so my physical body, has been affected. But inside of that, then there's emotional responses. There's, lack of mental focus.
Yeah,
Social has been affected. I'm sure my spirit is really ticked.
right, right. Like,
And so I can
damn
see
it,
how,
Ryan. That's
yeah,
what yeah, it's
yeah,
it's all yelling at you.
yeah, it's yelling at me internally saying, you need to sleep. Sometimes the body will make you sleep. It'll shut down. Different things will manifest in different ways, but uh, I can see where it's all tied together in those categories. And
Never.
yeah, yeah,
When
not
when
much,
we
Steve.
do,
I'm telling you, it is
in the
not.
words of Hugh, right?
Yeah,
When we do.
lately it's not much, and maybe that's because like, and some of it I could probably find some different ways um, to rest effectively. Um, the body doesn't need a ton of sleep, but it needs enough. And I haven't felt like I've got enough, so I need to work on that. And I asked a question inside of a story on my Facebook wall about tips and tricks and how I can do that, because I really needed to lean on others because I'm not doing a great job of self-care in that area. And I got some great tips. It was awesome. Mike Garrick had thrown down some amazing tips on sleeping, and I'll probably talk about those in some future videos or put them in the comments because
Yeah, yeah.
he came up with, like, I think there was a list of 10 that he threw down in just a few minutes, that were things that I could do as possibilities, and then that would spill over into some of these other areas or make me more effective in some of these other areas. So um, yeah, I think historically, I think if you're moving towards a goal or a vision and working hard, and um, I think it's important to pause and to take some time for yourself, to remember yourself. It's very easy to just get in habits and routines and um, just to
Well,
go, go, go.
yeah, we often, I'll say we as though I'm speaking for the collective here. Like you're welcome that I get to speak for you. How about I speak for me? What I tend to do is or have tended to do in the past is to put it out there. Well, I can't because of this experience, or I can't because of that person. And so that's one of those things where it's like, what am I doing to create my grief or my discomfort? And then what can I do to manage that? So um yeah, alcohol
I
can have a physical impact, right?
probably
Like,
should drink more. I don't drink any.
yeah. Well,
I didn't
so
have to drink less because less is already zero.
yeah, how do you go negative on the alcohol consumption? I am going to go less than alcohol. But you think about that is pay attention to your body. If most of the time we're unconscious around these things, so the more you can wake up to it, the more awareness you can create about it, the more you can sit in the discomfort and really see how things impact you.
Mm-hmm.
So how does caffeine impact your body? And what does it do over the time? And really sit with that, rather than the quick buzz and then unconsciousness. It's like, okay, so I had that and now I'm drinking it. And what does it feel like after? And do I really enjoy that and really sit with that experience and then decide from there, do I love this? Do I want to keep this as a pattern and a behavior? Do I want to shift it? And it is individual. Nobody else
Mm-hmm.
has the responsibility to do self-care for you. Like, that's our job.
Yeah.
Now,
Man,
yeah,
Cherry threw up some ways that that could work as possibilities.
yeah,
Mike Garrick had talked about blue light. Like if you're staring at your phone too much
yeah,
or the
yeah. That
computer
can
screen,
impact. Yep.
shut it down earlier. Put your phone in airplane mode, which
Yeah.
I have obviously did not do at 4:19 in the morning the other night.
Right. Right.
Talked about taking a bath, like the melatonin,
Yeah.
magnesium, uh, eating right. Man, Cherry's right.
Yeah.
Healthy living, what you put in your body does make a difference. Caffeine, paying attention to the those different things I
Yeah.
think could help in that physical, and then it spills over I think into some of these other areas.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we could go all day talking about different things that could work as possibilities.
I couldn't, but I got things to do. Yeah.
This is another good one right here.
Yeah.
Sleepy
Well, and
time
so
too.
look at every area, social, physical, emotional, mental, how relational, relationships, how are you taking care of yourself inside of each of those, and really put the responsibility and the ownership back on yourself, and be easy on yourself, be gentle with yourself in that. Don't slam yourself just because you're not doing it, but take some time to really sit with how you respond. If you're numbing it, maybe don't numb one time and experience it fully. What does it feel like to feel the full emotion? Because that's what we're really trying to avoid here in most of these areas is we feel the grief in these areas, but we don't want to face it. And so I think it's interesting that care is synonymous with grief
Hmm.
and sadness. And where are you feeling sadness or grief in different areas of your life? And how can you step into fully shifting that, which means you've got to be conscious. So,
Well, I think that gets some wheels turning inside of some of the listeners' heads. It definitely does inside of mine, and now
yeah,
I've got some reflection to do, and some sleep
but I'll do it later after I drink some
after I
alcohol.
numb.
Yeah, let me get my caffeine in, and I'm going to stay up for 24 hours, but I'll get to it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Awesome. Any other thoughts?
That'll do it.
All right.
Love you
Perfect, guys.
too.
Make it a giant day.